It's the Kevin Gorman Show on Trib Live Radio. We're at Pine-Richland with Eric Kasperowicz, the Rams head coach. And, Coach, can you talk a little bit about what it's been like for you guys to have this type of a season? I know we talked before the season about the possibility of cracking kind of the WPIAL's elite in Quad A, but to go undefeated, to win your conference, and to go into the WPIAL playoffs as the number one seed must be a kind of a validating feeling for you.
Yeah, it's you know, something special. This is a great group of seniors here, and but that's our goal. You know, we want to be one of the top programs around, and I think with this group of seniors we have, and the talent we have coming up through, you know, we got a good shot to sustain this, and that's my goal. Is not just to be a one and done team. You know, we want to build a program here, and it starts from the bottom up. And great support from the community, the administration, the school district, cheerleaders, band, all that stuff. You know, they're really behind us this year.
You came here a couple years ago as the offensive coordinator, and you saw firsthand some of the struggles that Pine-Richland dealt with from going up from a Class AAA power to a Quad A school that was one of the smaller ones. What's been the key in kind of making that progression from triple to quad, and to go from a team that was making the playoffs to a team that's going in now as the number one seed?
Yeah, I don't think there's that big of a separation between the best teams in AAA, which Pine was, and the best teams in quad. Now, I think generally speaking, there's a big difference, but from the top teams to the top teams, there's not that much of a difference. So I think the biggest difference for us here at Pine was a confidence thing, because even back, I think in the first year in AAA, they beat I think they beat North Allegheny. It was on Root Sports. They beat them, and you know, that was pretty shocking to some people. And so it was more just a confidence thing. It was a culture thing, and that was my biggest thing when I got here, was to change the culture, teach these kids that you can play with them, you can win football games, but it starts with the little things, and that's what we work on every day, is just doing the little things right in practice, in the classroom, at home, and just repeating that over and over and over again, and then, you know, good things will happen, and that's kind of been our model since I've been here.
Yeah, Ben DiNucci was just saying that, how much the confidence that you got from beating two teams in particular, North Allegheny, which you hadn't done at the Quad A level, and Central Catholic, which was the defending champion and state runner-up last year.
Sure, and you know, we could talk all we want and say, and you know, I think a lot of people, media, even preseason, well, Pine-Richland got the potential to be, and they have the talent to do it, but are they going to do it? And I think to finally get past North Allegheny and, you know, to beat Central Catholic the way that we did, you know, obviously is a huge confidence booster for these kids and for, you know, for this program.
And at what point do you stop talking about, hey, we can do these things, and once you get the number one seed, say we are going to do these things? At what point did you start talking to them about the potential to make it to Heinz Field, the potential to win the WPIAL championship at the Quad A level?
Yeah, I mean, we know we have a good football team, but with that being said, we really don't talk about that. We don't talk about, you know, Heinz Field. We're worried about Collinsville Friday night. Now, we all understand that's our goal, is to make it to the WPIAL championship. Our first goal is to win a conference, go undefeated. We did that, and now the next goal is Heinz Field. But we're worried about Collinsville right now, and get through that game, and we'll see who's up next for us.
One guy who's really been a catalyst for this team is Ben DiNucci, your senior quarterback. Can you talk about what makes him a special player?
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier, just his smarts. He's such a student of the game. He's accurate with the football. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he can throw any ball on the field that you need to throw, and he's so smart about you know, where he's going with it pre-snap, that when it happens, he anticipates, and he can get the ball into some small windows, whereas a kid with not a strong arm couldn't do. But he's like a coach on the field. You know, anything we ask him to do, which is a lot compared to most schools. Most schools call play, and he turns around and hands it off, or you call play and he throws it to the ex-receiver. You know, we call play, and he's got upwards of 4 or 5 options every single snap of the game, going at a tempo that's 4 to 5 seconds after the referee spot the ball. So it's kind of like a hyperdrive, but Ben making these decisions on the fly like that, it's just a credit to him and the work he's put in.
Yeah, because he's a guy who threw for, I think, 2,100 yards last season, completed over 71% of his passes last season. To ask him to do more and to do better this year had to have been something that was, you know, tough, but also kind of demanding of him. How much have you seen a difference from last year to this year?
Sure, and he understands that. To play quarterback in this offense, you obviously got to be smart, but you got to be accurate, because that's what keeps the chains moving. Those are kind of momentum plays for us. You know, just even if they're short completions, long completions, it doesn't matter. As long as he's completing passes, then our confidence is building, and he's getting things done. But his improvement, I think from a sophomore year to a junior year, we voted him most improved. From his junior to his senior year, I think he's improved more than he did that year. And the sky's the limit for him. He's a smart kid, and the weapons he has around him, and he's done a great job. The more he learns that to use those guys he could still get better.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you have a guy like Connor Slomka and two of the top receivers in WPIAL at your disposal, sometimes it's not really about what you do, it's about how to get them the ball. How much of, you mentioned that he kind of has learned that, it's that he doesn't have to do as much as long as he's getting the ball in the right player's hands.
Sure, and that's what we preach all the time. That's what I'm constantly telling him. When he does make a rare negative play, it's because he's trying to do too much. Let the offense run itself. All he has to do is manage it. Now, he's got, obviously, and he showed Central Catholic Week, he can make plays. He can pull the ball and run it when he needs to, and we run him on some designed quarterback runs here and there. But for the most part, just run the offense. Take what the defense has given you, and, we'll be in good shape.
As a quarterback who's won WPIAL and state championships, you know how important the position can be to doing those things. How much confidence do you have that with a kid like Ben DiNucci at quarterback that you have the opportunity to do some special things this season?
Yeah, not only is he smart like we talked about, but he's athletic, and I think a lot of people don't give him credit for that. He can run the ball, he can throw the ball, and the talent he has around him. The offensive line hasn't been getting much notoriety this year, but other than a few physical breakdowns or mental breakdowns, there hasn't been any real sacks given up. I think we've given up 12 sacks on the year of the 100, and I don't even know what our numbers are, however many times we threw it, but not many of them have been because of mental errors. It's just been a physical thing where the kid beat him. So, I mean, we're in pretty good shape up front there, too. Those kids are doing a great job, and being able to run the football and throw the football the way we are, they should get a lot more credit.
And Ben's had a couple games where he was perfect completion-wise. How much has that kind of been a reflection of your season? You have a perfect season so far. To have a guy who's capable of a perfect game, do you feel like that's been that way, that type of season this year?
Yeah, he's special, man. And again, it's not. And Ben's obviously making the throws, but it's everybody around him. It's the offensive line keeping him clean. It's the running backs and pass protection. It's the receivers running the right routes, running crisp routes, and getting open. So it's a combination of the offense. Now, Ben's obviously running the show, but he knows as well as I do that it takes all 11. It's not just him. It's not a one-man show. But, yeah, I think the one game, we had two perfect ones. I think the other one, he was 14 of 15 with a drop. So he's playing lights out right now. We just got to kind of keep it rolling and keeping these guys focused 1 week at a time, one game at a time.
How easy is it to keep them focused given that you haven't won a game in the Quad A playoffs, that you have a new goal to set and kind of a new point to prove to yourself and to everyone else?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. These kids are great. Like you said, we have never won a Quad A playoff game. So to come out here week one of the playoffs and be able to have a home game versus Connellsville, they're excited about it. And then we're not going to overlook anybody. Respect the opponent, welcome them into our house, and then see what happens.
All right, well, best of luck to you, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.